Hey everyone, it's the Slick Cuber. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the 2x2 shape mod, the ShengShou Pyramorphix. Here we have the ShengShou or ShengShou Pyramorphix, and this is an interesting puzzle that I got sent from Dfantix. Obviously, right when you look at it, it looks like an easy version of a Pyraminx, where all you have to do is change the tips, but that's not the case because that wouldn't really be a puzzle like at all. That'd be really easy. Instead, this is actually just a 2x2, but it's a shape mod. So you can see it turns on the corners kind of, and it brings these weird pieces with it in a weird kind of way. This is really unlike anything I've solved before, and it was actually quite challenging to figure out how to solve. Because this is a 2x2 shape mod, you can actually solve it the same way you solve a 2x2 using the same methods. However, because of the shape and because of the weird way that these layers turn and kind of bring these other pieces with it, I found that it's really hard to do like Ortega, for example, because you just kind of get lost. You don't really know what pieces are supposed to be what corners. So there's another way you can do it that's not really a 2x2 method, and I will be doing a tutorial and some example solves on how to do this in the future. However, this is just a review of this cube, so let's just talk about the performance of this cube. So the layers turn really smoothly, and they have this nice little click. You can kind of hear. Here, I'll bring this up to the mic so you guys can hear it. So you can hear that there's a little bit of a clack as the layers pass by each other, and I think that's just the corners kind of hitting each other. However, it does kind of make it satisfying. It kind of sounds like a magnetic click. I will say that even though there's a nice clacking between the pieces as you turn it, one problem that I've noticed is that the clacking between the pieces, I don't know if you can see this here, let me focus on it, is actually causing it to kind of degrade here on the corners, and it's starting to chip away, which I think if I were to do this, 100 or maybe 1,000 solves, it might actually break the plastic, which could then be a problem in the future. It's also very stable, which can be both a good thing and a bad thing. Because on one hand, you do want it to be kind of stable, because when you're doing layer turns, if you're turning this and these other turns are trying to like morph at the same time, it can get really annoying, and you can find yourself getting all sorts of weird lockups that you wouldn't expect because this puzzle turns differently than any other puzzle. So that's a good thing. However, the bad thing is sometimes it can act sort of like a Rubik's brand cube, where if the layers aren't perfectly aligned, it doesn't want to turn. Just because the way that this thing turns, there's not really any corner cutting that you can do. The plastic and the stickers are good quality. It feels just like a standard 3x3. They're not too slippery or slick. I would say that this thing doesn't even really need lube. It didn't feel like there was any factory lube in here, and so I thought about putting lube in here. However, it's pretty smooth, and I don't think it really needs anything like that. I guess that's all I really have to say. This is a quick little review compared to some of my other ones, just because there's not a lot of things to compare it to. This isn't really a WCA event where I can talk about, the performance of the Pyramorphix compared to other ones or anything like that. It is a pretty interesting cube. Thanks a lot to Dfantix for sending it to me, and I'll put a link in the description below where you guys can buy it. I will say it is a little hard to find a good tutorial online, so I will be making a tutorial and some example solves on how to solve this, just because it is a 2x2 shape mod, but using the 2x2 method is actually kind of hard because of the way that the layers kind of morph around. It's hard to keep track of where you are and where they're supposed to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, make sure to give it a like. If you guys want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.